Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Legend of the Seeker Season 1 Episode Sacrifice. So this is a very good emotional episode that has to do with a group of confessors. If you've never seen this show before or you never saw my review on this, a confessor is a female who wears a long white dress, but if they're in hiding, they'll wear like a long black dress. Excuse me, a long black dress, or sometimes the main confessor of the show, Kaylin, she'll wear like multiple colors like browns, greens, stuff like that, but they mostly wear like long white dresses. And they are a group of like warrior women who have the ability to tell if a person is telling a lie or not. So they are like so their job is like to be kind of like judges of the Midlands. The Midlands is where like they live. And they're warrior women because they fight with like twin daggers, and they're very proficient with it and throwing them. So oh, also, they have the ability to confess a person. What that is that if they touch your body, they look into your eyes, their eyes turn black, your eyes turn black, and basically you're under like their love spell for the rest of your life. So basically, you are devoted to serving them and serving them only and pleasing them, if you know what I mean. And that is how they continue their line of confessors, because their powers come out in the heat of the moment, and they can come out at any time, even if they kiss a person for a long time or clickety clacking them. So this episode is directed by Michael Hurst, and so you know it's going to be a good episode. He is a New Zealand actor who has transitioned to that of director. He does both. He was Aeolus on Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. So in this episode, our group of heroes: Richard, who is the seeker of truth; Kaylin Anel, who is the confessor; and Zedekiah Zu'l the Rander, who is a wizard of the First Order and the last wizard of the First Order. And they're traveling in the woods and they're lost. They are then greeted by a group of women with a glowing light. Now, the glowing light is a night wisp. They put it inside like a little jar type thing with a chain, and a night wisp. They are very friendly to that of confessors and only talk to those they know. But they have like a secret language that you can't understand. They sound like they make noise like that, and only people who can bond with them are able to hear them. So a lot of confessors are able to. And so it led them to Kaylin. Why? Now, these group of women are confessors. It's 3 confessor women dressed all in black, and they're led by the mother confessor dressed in white. Now, the mother confessor is like the head confessor, and she resides in Idendale, which is a town where she pretty much makes a bunch of laws, and she acts like a judge. And her word is literally law. And so they tell them that they've been attacked. They've been fleeing from the enemy, Dark and Raw, who is like the main enemy of this show, and that their numbers are like getting really, really low. So low that they're the only ones left. So it's only 4, along with Kaylin. And so she is shocked and surprised to hear this, because there are thousands of confessors, or at least there used to be. And so she tells them that like they fought as hard as they could against like the Daharan. Daharans are like the foot soldiers of Dark and Raw, but they can no longer fight no more. And in order to preserve their order, they must flee. And they plan on going to an island called Valeria, which is very far away. And she tells Kaylin that you must come with me. Kaylin doesn't want to do that because of 2 reasons. One, she is the confessor to that of the seeker, so she must help him in his quest. And 2, she's in love with Richard. which they're not supposed to fall in love with nobody. Basically, in order to preserve their line, they fight evil men in battle who are strong, and they confess them, and then they make babies by them. And so, even though Kaylin doesn't want to do that, she is forced to. So they start heading towards the shore. And then all of a sudden, they are greeted by a man. A man talking about he must find his mistress Denis. This pisses Kaylin off because Denis is her sister. Now, let me give you a little context as to who she is. I haven't mentioned her yet because she's in the pilot episode, which I haven't reviewed yet. Denis is the sister of Kaylin, and she's the confessor as well. Now, in the beginning, they had to find Richard, who was in a town called Brennan, and he is behind that of the border. The border is a giant green magical energy wall that separates the two towns. This was put up to keep the seekers safe and stuff, and to keep the people safe from dark and raw. As Caitlin and Denis tried to get there, Denis was shot in the back with a crossbow, and there she died. So this entire time, Caitlin thought her sister has been dead. But if this man is still confessed, then therefore she is alive. Why? Because the only way a person can get out of confession, and the only way, is to either have the magic of the confessor taken away, which is very rare, extremely rare, or to kill the confessor. So if he's confessed, she is alive. And of course, Caitlin's going to stop at nothing to get her sister. But there's a problem. When she fell near where the soldiers were. So they feared that she might be in a prison camp, which turns out to be the truth. The Night Wisp leads them to like a prison camp, and they wonder how in the world they're gonna get inside. You know what I'm saying? But Richard, being the smart person he has an idea. He tells Zed to use his magic to make Caitlin look like a Mord Sith. And I've already talked about what Mord Sith were in that other episode I reviewed. Basically, they're elite enforcer warrior women for Dark and Raw. They wear red leather, tight leather too. So tight you can't breathe. And they have these magic sticks called an Zu'l. And they basically electrocute you and torture the crap out of you. So Caitlin comes in with Richard with a chain around his neck and the Sword of Truth. Now the Sword of Truth is one of the most powerful swords ever. In the hands of anybody else, it's just a regular sword, but in the hands of a seeker, it gives him the ability to fight like 200 men or 20 men. And so she comes in, with the whole ruse, pretending to be like a Mord Sith to get her sister. When she goes to one of the wardens, she tells him she needs to talk to him in private. And when she does that, she confesses him. She finds her sister. Her sister's hair has been completely cut off, and she's thrilled to see her sister. Only problem is her sister is now pregnant. So it makes their job a little bit harder. So as they're leaving, one of the guards that works there want to know why are these prisoners leaving, and the Mord Sith is all like, oh, we have new orders and everything. And so they head back and they meet up with the rest of the confessors. So now there's 6 confessors. My bad, my battery died. And then I went to go watch a TV show. Because I still haven't finished Moon Knight yet. So I watched part of it last night, but then I got sleepy and I'm like, screw this. Okay, where was I at? Okay, they got released from prison. Something, Denis. Oh, then the knee actress. She's a New Zealand actress. I remember I saw her in the 3rd Underworld movie. She had like a small role. And that's because that movie was filmed in New Zealand for the first time. And so with now 6 confessors and everything, their numbers are very, very low. But they're about to have a 7th because one is pregnant. Now, Denise, she apologizes for being pregnant, but because, she was on a vital mission to get to the border and stuff. But she tells them, the numbers were low and everything. And she took what's his name in battle because he's a Daharan soldier and everything. And so she just, decided to like do him right then and there. And she was probably just horny and stuff. And so let me talk a little bit about the other confessors. Now, two of them never speak, they're just there, but there is one who actually does. And so this is the group that first met them and stuff. And so they are battered, they are dirty, lips are cracking because they're chapped. They went through the ringer when trying to survive through the hardened soldiers and stuff. One of them fought so hard that she lost her hand, and they're just not who they used to be. Like, these are very proud women, and they're just like, got their heads down all the time. And so Zed, being a wizard, he decided he is going to help that one lady who lost her hand. He's a very kind, generous soul. He wasn't always like that growing up, but now he is. And so he uses his magic to restore her hand. And I love the special effect on it. It's not just a glowing light, it's nice little glittery stuff. And it's that on a TV syndicated budget. Now, this was produced by ABC Studios, but they didn't want it on their network for some reason, which I'm kind of glad, because it would have kind of looked weird on the ABC format, because all they are about comedy and drama. And so, like, this was nice that it was in syndication. And so Denis tells them straight up that, there's going to be a little bit of a problem and everything. She goes into labor. And so at first the baby's turned the wrong way. Richard helps it because he used to be on a farm with animals and stuff. So, okay, crisis averted until the baby is born. He holds the baby in his hand. Everybody's smiling until Richard says with a big glee in his voice, "It's a boy." Everybody's smile turned into a frown. Well, except for the dude who's been confessed, because he doesn't know really what the world's going on. And the question is, why is everybody upset that this is a boy confessor? Then I stopped and I thought to myself, wait, hold up. I've never seen a male confessor before. I've only seen female. And then next thing you know, Richard asks, yo, what's wrong and everything? And the mother confessor tells them this boy must die immediately. I'm just like, whoa, what the world's going on? I'm with Richard right now. Like, what the world's going on? See, this is something they never told him or told the audience. I'm glad they waited, because it was like a big, oh my God moment. Apparently, a male confessor are unable to hold in their emotions. See, a female confessor, their powers are released through like emotions, and they have a better chance of like controlling it. Where a male gets into like that of the bloodlust, and they start confessing people at will. And so they're unpredictable, they're controllable and everything, and they are pure evil. Their emotions take over to all they feel is rage, and all they want to do is destroy. So because of this, male confessors are not allowed to live. They must perform a ritual with magic and herbs and stuff to purify the soul of the male confessor, and then they drown the baby. That way, when it's in the underworld, its spirit won't go around wreaking havoc and stuff. And so Richard's all like, well, this is barbaric. Like, how do you know this is going to happen with him? And so the mother confessor tells a story of how once a confessor, and she bore that of a male child, and she thought maybe the love in her heart would change him. Nope. He went around killing and confessing people to where she had to kill her own son. And it was the mother confessor herself. Now, this is what's interesting. She said we had to kill our baby. I'm thinking to myself, okay, is she talking about like the other confessor women who helped, or is she talking about the husband she confessed? Like, who exactly, Now, this is what's so strange. Her and Zed, they know each other. And Zed used to be horny back in the day. And I'm thinking to myself, could it have been him? But then how could it be? Because he would have been confessed doing lovemaking and stuff. So that's never been explained. And during this whole time, Zed just has his back turned to everybody, his head down. He's not even like trying to think about this. And so Richard's all like, Zed, man, you got to help me out here, or Kaylin and stuff. And Kaylin's all like, well, this is our way, Richard. How you expect me to go against like, everything I believe in? And Zed is just kind of like, he explains what the mother confessor said. The bloodlust is too strong in that of a male confessor. It is easier just to do it like now while they're a baby and stuff like that. So Richard is just kind of like, so when they get like the root and the oil and like the magical stuff to like purify the baby, Richard knocks it out of the mother confessor's hand. He is not gonna let nobody touch this baby and stuff. And next thing you know, they start hearing like a rumble. It's the Daharan soldiers. Now so he's gonna draw them off their scent, and he asks Kaylin, "Please don't do nothing with this baby until I get back." And she's like, "All right, fine, I promise." Now let's get back to the soldiers. So, Demon Nos is a very evil Daharan general, and he goes there because he heard that there's a seeker in at the prison site, and he knows that the confessor is there. Now, the reason why Dark and Raw hates confessors is because he doesn't want to be confessed, and he wants them to die. But he also wants to raise a baby confessor so he can twist it in his evil ways. So when Demon Nas goes there to collect the baby, that one guard that Kaylin confessed tries to assassinate him, but he kills him instead. And he orders the rest of the men to find, like, the confessor and the seeker and this fake Mort Sith. So they're hot on the trail. And when they get to like the place that where the baby was born, they see like the oil and everything and the herbs, and he knows it's a ritual for a male confessor. He is very pleased because he knows Raw will love to have a male confessor over that of a regular female confessor and stuff. Now, when Richard goes by the shore to find the rest of the women, he noticed that the baby is gone, and so is Flynn. Flynn is the man that the need confessed to have the baby with. And Richard's pissed at Kaylin and everything for lying to him. So he runs off and he goes to find Flynn. And so when he finds him, Flynn is in the water getting ready to drown the baby. It's a very ominous, powerful scene. It's just a lake. It's nighttime. The water is dark because it's the nighttime. And Finn is just like holding the baby in his hands, standing in the lake. And he's very distraught. And he's supposed to drown the baby, but somehow he's kind of fighting the confession a little bit. Richard is able to trick and convince him that, the need would never want you to do this, man, and she will hate you if you kill that baby. So he lets the baby live, and Richard takes the baby and run off. When the other confessors find Flynn, he tells them that, the tricker, not tricker, but the seeker tricked him and everything, and so they don't know what they're gonna do. So instead of all of them going, the mother confessor is furious. She tells everybody, head to the shore, and Kaylin, Zed, and herself will go find Richard. This is a very interesting debate. If you was living in their magical world, it's like you get where Richard's coming from. Like, this baby is innocent. This baby hasn't done anything yet. What are the chances that this baby's gonna turn like evil? You know what I'm saying? But then you gotta stop and think about this has happened before and before and before, and nothing has ever changed. And and this is like a ritual that must happen. And so, do you decide to take a chance, or do you decide to uphold tradition and like prevent this evil from coming? And it's just kind of weird. Like, what if something like that was to happen in our world and stuff? And it's a very interesting debate. So, like, on one hand, you feel what Richard is saying, but then you also feel what the confessors are saying. And so they all those three split up, and Kaylin is able to find Richard first. And so they talk, and he persuades her to see his point of view. So they're like, all right, fine, we're just gonna like flee and everything. And But then Kaylin's kind of like, Richard, no, what are we gonna do? Like, we're here with a baby now, and you still have a mission and everything. Cause he didn't think that through. He has to literally kill Dark and Raw. That is his mission in life, to stop that man. And that's the whole reason, like, he was kind of like created and stuff, and this power was given to him. And so it's like, what are they gonna do? So I think it's daytime now, I believe. I'm not really, I can't really remember. I think it is daytime, and they're feeding the baby. And Caitlin's all like, look, man, we're alone. Like, what are we gonna do? And then so all you hear in the background off screen is Zed's voice saying, Richard, you're never alone. You have us and everything. Richard's kind of like, y'all stay back. And then him and Caitlin start to run. But then Zed is able to talk and calm Richard down. But Richard's all like, look, man, I ain't getting rid of this baby and stuff. And so the mother confessor is at the point where she's all like, screw this. My word is law, and I'm about to enforce some laws no matter what I gotta do. And she tells Zed that if the seeker won't willingly give the baby back, she'll force him to. And Caitlin's all like, you can't confess the seeker of truth and everything. And, that will corrupt him. And she's all like, oh, I don't plan on confessing him. And then out of nowhere, she grabs Zed by the throat and she confesses him. Now, when you normally confess a person, like I told you before, the person's eyes turn black. The clouds in the background for a nice visual effect for the show, they move around really fast. Sometimes they might turn dark, sometimes they might not. With Zed is different because he's a wizard of the First Order, which is the most powerful wizard on the earth. His whole face illuminates, and you can see his skull underneath, and it's just a glowing, flashing light. And she confesses the crap out of him. Caitlin's just all like, what in the world did you just do? He's a wizard of like the First Order, and you have corrupted the crap out of him. He can no longer help Richard on his mission. She's all like, oh, well, once the baby's dead, I'll just order Zed to like help the seeker out, and all will be fine. Zed is literally like a zombie, a robotic zombie and everything. He's not saying nothing. His head is up high, and she tells Zed to get that baby back. Richard is kind of like, crap, dude. So Zed uses what I like to call his it's kind of like a blast of distorted waves that knocks people on their feet, and it knocks Richard on his feet. But Richard doesn't have the baby right now. I think Caitlin has the baby. Yeah, Caitlin has the baby in her hands. So Richard's knocked on his feet. And then so I think the mother confessor asked for Caitlin to get the baby back. She does it, and Richard doesn't like that. Then she tells Zed, make the seeker like go away or something like that, or make him compliant, or just something like that, right? He uses his wizard fire. Wizard's fire is very powerful. It's a long stream of fire, and when it hits a person, it turns them into barbecue. And he shoots it at Richard. Richard grabs his sword of truth and he uses it as a shield. And you see like this huge blast of like fiery energy waves just like shooting out from like the sword. And Richard's trying to use it as a shield because it has the ability to block like magical energy and stuff, but not for that long. It will heat the sword up. And then Richard doesn't hurry up and think of something. He's gonna turn into barbecue. So at some point, Zed uses his telepathy powers and he makes the sword come to his hand. And him and the mother confessor and the baby, they walk off. And so Richard's on the ground being like, all right, he's a little hurt and everything. Caitlin helps him. And they're like, what the world are they gonna do now? They have the sword, they have the baby, they have Zed. They are literally screwed. So while all this is going on, the 4 confessor women and Flynn, they're by the beach shore. And Denis is kind of like, this isn't right. I want my baby. And then the other lady who lost her hand and got it back is all like, well, what are we gonna do? We can't go against the mother confessor. So then it cuts to them, and then we see them meet up with Kaylin and Richard, and they explain what all happened, and they have to get the sword, the baby, and Zed back. And they all like, well, how are we gonna like fight Zed? He's a wizard. He'll just blast us. And Richard, being a smart person that he is, he's all like, oh, we need an army of our own against a wizard. Richard's thinking about the Daharan soldiers. What's about to happen is one of the coolest things ever. Richard finds the Daharan soldiers. He tracks their movements and stuff. And they're all like, one against an entire army? Oh, the odds are not good for you, boy. And he's all like, oh yeah, well, he brought an army of his own. And then you see the Confessor women running from the woods with their daggers in hand, screeching and everything. The soldier men are like, crap, dude, what are we gonna do? These are Confessor women. So it's a huge epic fight. The goal is to kill as many of the Daharan soldiers as they can, but then confess the rest and everything. Because they're not going to be able to just straight up confess people, because the other one's going to be there to try to like kill them. So they have to slash and gash as many of them as they can. And it's slashing and gashing. Now, sorry, I can't talk. The bad part is there's no blood in this show. So, they couldn't get away with that. But it's weird. It's like the old school Hercules and Xena when they slash a person with a sword. There's no blood. That's always been so weird to me. And so it works. And they confess half of the men. And then those soldiers, they go to fight Zed. And Zed just kills every single last one of them with wizard's fire and everything. Now the mother confessor is pissed. She can't find the rest of like the confessors when they're at the shore. And so here they all come, and they're trying to persuade the mother confessor to stop. And she's all like, I will kill this baby to preserve like peace in the world and everything. And so as they're like talking and stuff, I don't know how Zed is subdued because he's not blasting anybody. And I forget how and why. And then all of a sudden, as they're like talking to her and everything, she's all like, look, I must do this, blah, 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 blah. And then Finn comes up from behind her and stabs her in the back. As a result, Zed is no longer under confession. Oh, that's right. He's on another part of the island, near the beach. So they went around like the corner and stuff. And that's when they talked to her because she's on like a cliff type thing. So once he's free of confession, they take the baby and then they give her a burial. Because even though she got corrupt in the end, she did a lot for them and a lot for the Midlands. And they will honor her legacy and everything. And they give her the burial ritual where they wrap them in cloth and then they set it on fire and stuff. But of course, what they're going to do about Flynn and the little baby confessor and Denis. The rest of the Confessor women decided they have to stay in the Midlands to preserve the peace no matter what. And they must continue to flee, hide, and fight the Daharan soldiers. But as for the baby and Denis, Richard has decided that if they're on Valeria, that's isolated and nobody lives there, then the baby won't be able to confess people. See, once a person is under confession, they can't be confessed twice. And a mother confessor is unable to be confessed. And so they're going to live their lives out on the island by themselves, just the three of them. And then with no people around to like confess, the bloodlust will not give in. And Richard hopes that this baby will not turn evil. But Caitlyn's all like, but what if we're wrong? What if like the baby somehow does come evil and like he gets on that boat and he comes back into the shore and the rest of the town? See, they never thought about that. So that it ends like that. So this was a very interesting, very powerful moral debate type episode. It's kind of like what people are going through now with abortion laws. It's kind of like because there's like laws saying if oh, if you have an incest baby, then you can't have an abortion and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't want that, or if they're raped and stuff. And so it's kind of like, where do we draw that line? And that's kind of what this show kind of dealt with. Where do you draw the line between the possibility of evil and just the innocence of that, of like a baby? And so there are two interesting follow-up episodes to this. One is at the end of this season, at the finale, and the other one is early on in the second season. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.